Hello guys, welcome to lesson 1 of the video series where I'm teaching you Dutch. I will use my personal list of the 200 most important words which I researched by myself, and I use them to learn any new foreign language, and the strategy works. So I will now use it to teach you Dutch. In all those lessons I'm talking about the verbs, about the conjugations. I will explain everything, also about the past simple. And I will also help you with the pronunciation and grammar. If you want to read the transcription, then you can see it in the description of this video, and you can copy and paste it. Now let's start with the basics. Hello, goodbye, thanks and sorry. I will say the words in Dutch now, and you need to try to imitate me to have the right pronunciation. So let's start. Hallo. Tot ziens. Dank je. Dank u. Sorry. Alright, as we see, the word hello is almost the same like the English hello, and the word sorry is almost the same like the English sorry. So that's not that hard. Now I want to explain something about the reference word you, because there are 3 different ways how we use it in Dutch. Jij, u and jullie. Jij is just informal. U is formal, or if you want to be polite, and jullie is plural. So those are the 3 ways. Let's start with the verb to make. I will say the conjugations and you need to repeat me. Ik maak. Jij maakt. Hij maakt. Wij maken. Jullie maken. Zij maken. Okay, now I want to explain something about the Dutch grammar, which you have with a lot of those verbs. When the first part of the verb has one vowel, it gets one of the same vowel in the I, he, she and it form. So it will be maak. Then when it's he, she and it, and you, then it also gets a T with a lot of verbs, so maakt. And then again when it's plural, then it will be the same verb as the whole verb, so maken. Okay, now the past simple. With the past simple, when the word is ending with a K, in this situation maak, then it gets a TE when you have I, you, he, she and it, and when it's plural, it gets the TEN conjugation, so maakten. You have this situation with a lot of verbs. Okay, now the verb to speak. I want to compare it with the last verb because you see that it has the same rule like the last verb in the present simple. As you see, it gets one vowel more in the I, you, he, she and it form, and it's plural in the we and they form. So that's the same, but in the past simple it's an exception, so that's why I also want to show it. So it's not spreekte but sprak. It's not spreekten but spraken. It's an exception. Okay, so now let's check the pronunciation. Ik spreek. Jij spreekt. Jij spreekt. Wij spreken. Jullie spreken. Zij spreken. Now the most important verb to learn, to be. At the same time it's one of the hardest Dutch verbs to learn because of the exceptional conjugations. I can't explain you why it is like this, you just need to learn it. But I will help you a little bit. I can still explain you something. Even when you have a verb with exceptional conjugations, when it's plural, the verb is not changing, so it's just the whole verb. So in this example, it's jullie zijn, wij zijn, and zij zijn. The verb is not changing. Then in the past simple, you have was and waren. As you see, when you have I, he, she and it, the conjugation is not changing, and when it's plural, it's also not changing. You have this with a lot of verbs. Okay, now I will pronounce the verbs, and you need to imitate me again. Ik ben. Jij bent. Hij is. Wij zijn. Jullie zijn. Zij zijn. Okay, now I want to proceed with the verb to want. Okay, I will say the conjugations and you repeat me. Ik wil, jij wilt, hij wil, wij willen, jullie willen, zij willen. Okay, there's just one exception. Normally, with a lot of verbs, when you are talking about he, she, or it, the verb is ending with a t. Now we have an exception because there's no t. And in the past simple, there's also an exception. Normally, with a lot of verbs, it's ending with de when it's single, and when it's plural, then it's den. So now it's ik wou, hij wou, zij wou. So that's an exception. But when it's plural, then you see it's ending with den. So that is really common. Last verb of today, to go. Ik ga, jij gaat, hij gaat, wij gaan, jullie gaan, zij gaan. There's just one exception. When you say I go, it's ik ga. So there are not two vowels. And yes, so that's the only exception. Then we have the past simple. There are more exceptions. You see that it's ik ging, jij ging, hij ging. And then when it's plural, it's wij gingen, jullie gingen, zij gingen. And now we have some important vocabulary, which you really need in to survive. I will say the words in Dutch and you can repeat me. Water, geld, toilet, restaurant, eten. Okay, as you see, we also have articles in Dutch. There are two articles, het and de. There's no rule when you need to use het or de, but all those words are beginning with het, so I made it easy for you. Now we have the prepositions, naar, in, and met. Yeah, you can use those words to construct phrases, and we use it in Dutch the same way how we use it in English. Alright, now we're going to construct some phrases with all the words which you've learned so far. So you have an idea of the position of the words. Let's start. I want money. Ik wil geld. As you see, it's the same like in English, the same order. You start with the reference word, then the verb, and then a noun. Next sentence. They want to drink a water. Zij willen water drinken. There's only one difference if you compare it with English. When you have two verbs next to each other, then the noun has to be between those two verbs in Dutch. Next sentence. They were in the bathroom. Zij waren in het toilet. It's the same order like in English, so you start with the reference word, then the verb, then the preposition, then the article, and then the location. And with the last sentence, it's exactly the same. I made food in the restaurant. Ik maakte eten in het restaurant. Now let's proceed with some information about the language and the country. The name of the language is Nederlands. The name of the country is Nederland. The Dutch people, we call them Nederlanders. And the euro is euro. Okay, now the first 5 numbers in Dutch. You can repeat me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now the affirmative and negative, if you want to say yes, you say ja. And if you want to say no, you can say nee. Okay, let's proceed with some example phrases with all the words which you've learned so far. Let's start with this one. Hallo, spreek je Nederlands? Okay, as you see, the question is starting with the verb. In Dutch, the question is always starting with the verb. Then the reference word and then the noun. Yes, I speak Dutch. Ja, ik spreek Nederlands. It's the same order like in English. Are you Dutch? Yes, I'm Dutch. Ben je Nederlands? Ja, ik ben Nederlands. Also the same order like in English. She wanted 3 euros. Zij wou 3 euro. The same order. Okay, now the last one, then the order is different. Do you want to go to a restaurant in Holland? Wil je naar een restaurant gaan in Nederland? Okay, here you see that the reference word, the preposition and the location is spaced between those two verbs. To go and to want. In Dutch that's really normal. Now the last words of this lesson, and then after we are going to construct some phrases again. Something and anything. In Dutch it's iets or wat. Now we have the feelings. Afraid, sad and happy. Yeah, you can repeat me. Bang, verdrietig, blij. Okay, and now we have some sentence connectors, which are really important as well. And, or, and because. In Dutch it's en, of, omdat. Last phrases of today. Let's start. Willen zij 4 of 5 euro? Okay, you see that the question in Dutch is starting with the verb. I want to make something. Ik wil iets maken. Okay, the way how you use iets in this sentence is the same like when you were using any noun in a Dutch sentence. So imagine that the sentence was I want to make food. You had to say ik wil eten maken. So it's always between those two verbs. She was happy with the Dutch food. Zij was blij met het Nederlandse eten. The same order like in English. We spoke Dutch because we went to Holland. Okay, in Dutch it is wij spraken Nederlands omdat we naar Nederland gingen. Okay, when you have the word because in Dutch, then the verb has to be at the end of the sentence. So it's ending with gingen. And you see that with the last phrase as well. Zij ging naar het toilet omdat ze verdrietig was. That the verb is at the end of the sentence because it's because you have the word omdat in the sentence. That's the end of lesson 1. I hope you understand 80% or maybe 90% of everything what I explained. I really recommend you to learn all those verbs, all those words, and to understand the grammar and the way how we construct phrases in Dutch. And then you can proceed with the next lesson. And I will publish the next lesson after a month. So first you can learn a lot of this lesson. If you have any questions, feel free to ask those questions below in the comments, and I will answer any question because I think it's really important that you understand it. So see you soon in the next lesson.